winter rye. Choking out most of the weeds. Well, there is a beautiful dandelion. I don't even know what that is in the middle. There's a few other ones. Some hairy vetch, which I consider to be a weed. It grows like crazy on the edges here. Lasts the whole winter. I'm back. But this is just one bed. I forget how big this is, like 16 by 10 or something. I noticed the soil wasn't really broken up enough. Didn't have enough looseness. And despite putting stuff in there, still was very clay and hard. I don't know if it was because it compacted. It's in a raised bed. But I planted this winter rye. Let's see, around September 18th, September 20th, somewhere around there. And it's definitely fully established. And it's, I don't know, some of it's like 6 to 8 inches tall. But that wasn't the only place. Planted it over here. Planted some in here, but you can see, what is this? I don't even know what's coming up there. I know there was something in there. It almost looks like something else got in here because it's everywhere. I did have some herbs in here. My dog has been taking dumps in there. This is another one that just, for some reason, laid down right here. But this could use organic matter. She ran out of time to do this bed, so I gave her my leftover straw. I rototilled 4 bales of straw. As you can see, I've been sprinkling it. I don't want mice to come in here. I think this is a nice, warm, dry home. And I also want it to rot. You can scrape off the top and compost that or whatever. Or mulch, uses mulch, because it's going to be, by the time winter's over, today is, what is today? October 10th? I mean November 10th? Yeah, it's got till you work soil around here. It's usually St. Patrick's Day. And that's a long way of rotting. Even if we don't get in a lot of snow, we're going to get a lot of rain. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep it wet. Make sure I keep it wet, running the sprinkler. But then we come over here. This is the largest section. I think I did this on September 16th. And it established pretty fast. My dog has been going in there, and I went in there a few times. I matted it down a bit. But this is where I had my pumpkin patch, and definitely used some fertilizer in here, so I wanted to extract some of that fertilizer, and I'm hoping this winter rye, which I will allow to grow until I see a sign where the soil is ready to work. It could be St. Patrick's Day I'm in here. It could be before then. If it's a soft winter, and I notice sometime in February, it's warm out. Not like last year's different. Last year, Christmas Eve was 70 degrees. That was weird. It got cool very fast because we're talking about the day before the shortest day of the year. But it was 70 degrees. It was unbelievable. Then we would get some cold weather, some warm weather. You never could really make up your mind. 2013, I think, in the winter time, we had no winter. If that would happen again, if I got those signs, and there were phenological signs around, well, more than last year, because a lot of things were budding in January. We had flowers, you had these lilies down here, these swamp lilies were coming up in December 24th, at least. That's when I noticed it. But that's quite a carpet. It's quite a carpet of good a good worker for me, or slave, because right now it's digging its roots down and it's bringing up those nutrients that's hard to get past with these trees, including the poison ivy. The I'll grow pumpkins in here again. I think they'll grow better this year. I gotta get my fence established back there a little more because the woodchuck kept on coming in. I stopped right there because I won't get the poison ivy, but it's dormant now, pretty much. And more winter rye. My Halloween props. Help hold up the fence. The dog killing her puppy. Gave her a monkey. She's in heat. She likes stuffed animals when she's in heat. That had something I planted in the spring. It must have been a volunteer. The original plant is probably gone. That's field peas. That came back. There could be some other things that are growing in here. I'm not sure. It's mostly winter rye. This bed is pretty good or whatever. It was just the regular ground, which didn't have much soil. Years ago, I put 8 cubic yards of topsoil on top of here. Raised it a bit. Not much. And I work stuff in. And it's pretty loose. Once it gets tilled and everything is dry. I will definitely have a lot of tilling to do. But, I don't know why they don't sell this around here. I know a lot of people don't like work. They don't like to have to, get rid of this stuff. I only did it one time before. I did it over where the straw is over there. And I used a lawnmower. I tilled it with a mattock. It rotted. And I don't remember being a problem. Not a problem to me. I'll do the same thing. I'll mow it down to nothing. It's just all on the ground. Once it's mowed down to nothing, I'll take my rototiller, which is my first rototiller. Where is it? There's some dead plants, dying plants. There it is, and its little makeshift thing. Already broke the thing on top. It's like a pin, top of the gear shaft. But despite the fact this little thing can be a little bit of a chore on raised beds and stuff, getting them up there, getting it up the raised bed, not falling off the raised bed. It's always a good thing. Always a good thing. But it's a nice little horse. I mean, it does. I can till by hand, but you don't pulverize by hand, especially the weeds, stuff like that. That's what makes this essential. And I can't wait to use it again and again and again. Because the more times you do it, the better maintenance you're going to have with your garden. You're going to have less weed roots being still alive. I'm probably going to employ in some areas, like up here, maybe a non-organic mulch. So you get the winter rye over there. The winter rye, the straw. And it's expensive, and you have to. So it's non-organic. mulch. It's you got problems with the seeds. It's always full of seeds, and they'll come up, and you got all that extra weeding to do. Yes, it's great for the soil. But I did it this year. I put a lot of this into the soil. I think I take a break. I wanted to get something more expensive. Maybe Farm Tech has some stuff. I don't like the stuff over Home Depot, the real thin stuff. Weeds go right through it. Jury's out on the other stuff, but you gotta weigh. Do you want to make an investment in mulch? None of my beds are uniform, and I wouldn't do it for the. If I'm growing, what do you call it over here? Pumpkins. I'm definitely not going to use mulch, like plastic mulch or some sort of synthetic mulch, even the ones that breathe and allow nutrients to go through. You don't want your pumpkins growing over that, because every time your pumpkin lands someplace, it sends down tap roads. That's how it maintains itself. It's a channel. It's a network. It's not just the hill. Yes, that will feed the pumpkin, but it needs nutrients right where it sits. Pumpkins do better if they can feed off of where the pumpkin starts to grow. And pretty much all the rocks are taken out here except one little area next to that bucket. Just a little pile of rocks on the ground there that haven't really gone in. Other than that, it's pretty clean. Although it's a little uneven, you can see it's going dips down. But this should help. It's really established pretty well. I see other people online looking this winterized stuff up, and they say that springtime theirs is only 4 inches tall. I don't know, maybe they waited till late October or even early October. I don't think that it establishes too well if you wait that long. You'd be better off. So like you had tomatoes, if you're going to plant that in between, you're going to plant that on your tomato bed or something, it'd be almost better to plant that in August or September, early September. I did mid-September, because you're still going to get that warm weather thing. It's really going to establish it like this is. This is much better established. So put it in between the rows. You don't have to choke out the whole tomato plant, but put it in between the rows so you can, especially if you have 4 by something, reach in rows. We have double tomato plants. Put it in between and put it on the edges where you don't have to walk on it, because it's rather fragile. Rips up really easily. That's why I cage my dog out of here, because she's definitely going to eat it, but she's also going to roll on it. She's going to roll on her back, stick her paws into it, rip it up, rip clumps out. But put it in between the rows. If you can plant it, whenever you can plant it, plant it. That's why a smaller rototiller is sometimes good. That's one of the reasons I picked that rototiller, because it might have a little problem right now, whatever, and Husqvarna sucks as far as customer service, I can tell you that. So doesn't True Value. But the thing is, the little ones is you can go in between rows and rototill, loosen the soil up, which that's what I did. I went in there, I rototilled this stuff. I limed it. I even added some little fertilizer, because this hasn't really been taken care of. I put some fertilizer this year, but there wasn't a lot in there. It took about 2 months for the straw that I rototilled under, because that was what was on top here, to I think die down enough where the winter eye started to turn darker green. Because this was actually kind of bright green. Some parts probably still are, but it looks much darker now. And this will just continue to grow. But the first chance I get to rototill it, I will be rototilling it. Take a long time, but soon as you can do it, as soon as you can roll it under, because right now it's done its job. It just has to get through the winter. But you remember, it's going to take, you got to leave like at least a month. I know some websites recommend 3 weeks, but you're going to want to do some soil preparation. I mean, if necessary, with pH, even though I did lime it. With this being a pumpkin bed, I'm going to be making hills, want to make hills and get them settled. But you're going to want to allow time before you stick any sort of plants in there. So, yes, pumpkins take a while. This happens to be some place where you could plant other things. You could plant other things before the pumpkins even arrive. But then again, you still have to get this under the ground and rotten. You got to rototill it under. And when you rototill it, it's not just like go up one row once and then go the other row. No, rototill it for hours until you get sick of carbon monoxide. Definitely rototill it a lot. Get beat up. Beat up your shoulders, beat up your arm, beat up your back. Just, gas isn't that expensive. Just get your money's worth. Have fun and get this under, and then look forward to a better garden. But don't plant something right after you rototill this under, because I guarantee it's going to lock up the nitrogen, and you're going to have to be feeding your plants blood meal, which is probably one of the best ways to offset the problem with no nitrogen. But still, it's better to let it rot. Even a straw can be a problem. Like I said, this was lime green, and now it's dark green. It's because it finally took over. But then again, this is a much hardier thing than a tomato plant or a pepper plant. It's going to look sickly if you plant right away. There you go, winter rye. Lots of it. Forget how many pounds. 50 pounds of it. 50 pounds of winter rye. It's good stuff.